What is up, you sexy Factorio Chads out there? Thanks for stopping in to check out my video on the top 10 quality of life mods for Factorio, whether it's base game or modded. As you know, I love Factorio. Factorio is a great game. However, base Factorio sucks balls to a certain extent. I enjoy the game very much. However, I am a guy with a job, and I don't have time to spend, enough. I don't have time to put enough effort in this game outside of work as it is, with the base game being the way that it is. So I figured I would share with you guys kind of what I have found to be the most helpful mods to install, especially with a particular mod pack. Hint, hint, cough, cough. My boulder, I am forever cursed to push up this hill. So these mods really, so I'm not, I want to be very clear. I'm not covering mod packs in this video. I am only going to be covering specific mods. If these mods happen to be in another pack, that's great. I'm just covering very specific ones that I have found very useful, that have just saved me so much time. Without further ado, let's go ahead and get into it. If you like what you see and you want to see more, go ahead and hit the subscribe button and the notification bell. That way you can see whenever I post new videos. I try to do as many as I can. Granted, this is a pretty small channel, so, I'm not posting super often, mostly just VODs, but yeah, also, if you want to go ahead and check me out on Twitch, Rockflocka420, that would be awesome as well. So go ahead and getting into the top 10 quality of life mods. So first mod that we have is Factorisimo 3. So Factorisimo 3, and I'm just in a creative session here because I'm not going to, the current world I'm in, there's a lot of stuff going on. So Factorisimo 3, and of course we're in a space exploration mod. So pretty much all it is I'm just going to put these there so I can kind of show you what's, nope, stop. Good Lord. Yeah, there we go. All right. Boom, boom, boom. Okay, cool. So basically, Factorisimo 3 gives you these nice little warehouses. And you must be asking, Malachi, what do these warehouses do? Well, guess what? When you hover your mouse over it, you can kind of see this little space. Well, let's see what's inside. Hold on. What the give me a second. How do I get in? Hold on a minute. Is this going to be stupid? Okay, well, needless to say, is this really not going to work? Hold on. All right, we figured it out. Okay, here's my player. So pretty much, as you can see, in Factorio, you really don't have a ton of, you don't have unlimited space, right? This is very important when it comes to actually like in a space exploration DLC or a the space exploration mod. Space becomes a huge factor. So what this does is it's a warehouse, right? This is a space within a confined space, and you can kind of just, put whatever in here, and it's full size. So you can basically create a tileable little factory. So like oftentimes what I find myself doing is I find like if I want to put one particular kind of science, right? So red science. I just want this factory to be red science. And guess what? There you go. After you press, you got to make sure you press the Alt key, but Alt key, and you can see, okay, so how do I get stuff inside of this? Well, I'm glad you asked. If you, grab some stuff here, grab a belt, and you can do this with belts, pipes, logistics robots, all sorts of stuff. Basically, all you do is you just, oh my gosh, really? Just give me unlimited. Come on now. All right. You do that. You go inside. You do that. They're automatically connected, and they will go in and out. Same thing with pipes. Pipes are pretty straightforward. It used to be that the pipe mods were really stupid, and you had to build a special pipe that would connect the outside to the inside, and then you just have to change the input mode, and there you go. You got pipes hooked up, and you're good to go. Now, there are multiple sizes of this factory building. And you're saying, okay, so you got like small, medium, and large, right? Well, let me tell you. Let me take the small one. And the small one's gone. Very cool. Creative mode sucks, so I'm probably not going to do this again. Okay. You can actually put these factories tileable inside of each other if you really wanted to. I don't think... Oh, you can. Oh, that's something I didn't even know. It's like you can put this level 3 one inside of this level 2. And you could have your entire factory filled with these. And it would just keep... You could keep going. And going. You know, and going. And, yeah. I don't do that because I may get lost. However... I would love to see a challenge someday of somebody just like, oh yeah, I'm going to build my whole Factorio factory, but it's just going to be inside of nested factories. I would love to see it. I'm not going to do this, but you guys are more than welcome to try it yourself. I just personally don't care. Anyway. All right, moving on to the next mod. And we're going to get rid of these. Yes, Katie, thank you. All right, mod number 2. Stop, go away. Mod number 2 is going to be grapple guns. So grapple guns are great for many, many reasons, like getting over walls, getting across bodies of water, flinging yourself with a jetpack. And where the hell? Give myself ammo, and here we go. Grapple gun. Cool, look at that. I can go. Yay. Grapple gun. So, you get this kind of early game, which is nice. In most mod packs, you'll get this early game. I think it's only red and green science that you need to have in order to get this. Pretty much, it just lets you move a little bit faster without having a jetpack. Like if you don't have oil up and running yet. It's you know, it's helpful to kind of move around, especially when you're fighting biters early on. It's useful. It's useful. And you know, grappling gun ammo is super cheap to make, just iron and coal. And that you know, initial grapple gun, again, super cheap and easy to make. Very nice, very nice. We like quality of life mods. Again, quality of life mods for Factorio. It's great. That brings us to mod number 3. Mod number 3 is called long inserters. Long inserters are because... So normally, right, you've got an inserter, and I really hate that it doesn't just hotkey it right here. So long inserter, so like here's your normal dude. What the hell? Okay, that's interesting. We'll get into that later. But so a long inserter is going to take one belt from one side, put it to the other, right? Well, long inserters will kind of change that just a little bit. So instead of being able to move it from here to here, you can move from here to here. And the nice part about this mod is that you can do it with... No, stop it. You can do it with these guys, which have an even longer radius. Well, actually, you don't even technically... This is just a fast inserter, right? And it's just set to long by default. But pretty much, I'm pretty sure I have 2 mods going on this, but you can do it with, so basically you'll have like a base yellow here. You'll have a, you can get a blue, and then you can obviously get a green. So by itself, this mod is great. The other part that you're kind of seeing, I'll get into it. It's a different mod, but pretty much just allowing you to use the, regular yellow boys, the fast blue boys, and then the fast stack green boys. Moving on to mod number 4. Longer underground pipes. Longer underground pipes are a lifesaver, because instead of having to do, give me like 100 of these, thank you. Instead of having to do this and then doing this, and then you have to get a pump, and you have to hook electricity up to it, and you can only go so long, otherwise pressure is crap. Well, instead of this, what if I told you that you could just do boom and keep going and to about right there. All underground. Don't need any additional pumps. You can just back to back to back, right? And the best part about this mod is that it's really only counting 2 pipes when it's going in these underground ones. So it's only going to have the pressure drop off of 2 of these surface pipes. Really, 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 I cannot stress this enough. A very, very helpful mod. I almost cried when space exploration, the mod pack, Factorio 2.0 came out, and this mod was broken. I was very distraught. It is so immensely helpful to just do this rather than training things across a map. I'm telling you. The next one we'll just kind of go into since we're here. Pipe Visualizer 2.0 is a great, great, great mod if you are trying to set up anything having to do with liquids, right? So liquids, or anything that's really transported through pipes, you will very much like to have this mod, because, and let me just get a little bit of an example down here. So if let's just say I have chemical plants, I have, oil refineries, I have, there's a bunch of, obviously, space exploration, there's a bunch of stuff that this would be very, like when dealing, especially with like the hypercoolers, right? It's gonna, you want to tell, where the pipes are going, how they're linking. So this is what this mod does. It helps you make that determination easier. So, right, so here you go. Got your little thing, and I don't know if I can put a thing of liquid in there, but like you can see. Give me a second to find. Can I get... That's the recipes. Can I actually get the fluids? Okay, well, anyway. So you can see there's this like little gray line, right? The gray line is just going to tell you, okay, this fluid is here. Instead of having to click on it or like hover over it, see, you just quickly hover, and it's, it just marks the pipe a certain color. So if you have like a bunch of different pipes, right, and they're just it's kind of a mess, you can just see them. You just see them right there. Or if you got, pipes as you're laying it down, you can see all of them. Or if you just hover over, generally speaking, any pipe, and it'll show you the whole connection, just as long as it's not a broken connection. That's the main thing. Very helpful mod. All right. Coming over to the next mod, we have solar panels, or just in general. So normally you lay down a bunch of these solar panels, you're not going to be able to get through them, right? Solar panels take up a lot of space. Early game, if you're trying to avoid biters, they're kind of booty. Well, this mod basically just allows you to kind of sneak on by, sneak through them. just as long as you know you're at the actual edge of the tileable item, right? So another example, it's not just solar panels, but steam turbines. Steam turbines are long and annoying, and you know, I would never set my factory up this way, but normally speaking, you can't get through these, except you can with this mod. It's great. It's awesome. You just have to go through this way. But normally, you wouldn't be able to sneak through there. This mod, coincidentally called Sneak Through 2, is able to do that for you. Super huge quality of life improvement. Love it. Love it, love it, love it. All right. Next one. So, this mod is interesting because it's not an item in the game per se. It's more of a like a heads up awareness kind of thing. So like, let's say I have, you know, I got some furnaces here, and then I got some, you know, some of those, and I got a thing right there, right? So pretty much on each of these furnaces, you'll see a lovely little red dot. Well, obviously the red dot means no ingredients, right? Well, with this mod, you know, obviously if it's running, it's going to turn green. If it's, you know, if it's slow though, and it's like not really, you know, it's like bottleneck for whatever reason, it's going to turn yellow. So that's kind of a nice little thing. It's not super crazy cool, but if you have like a giant factory and you're just trying to quickly call out like, oh yeah, like, oh, this little spot is yellow. I wonder why it's yellow. Oh, it's because, you know, and you can kind of visually without, you know, having to look and see where, you know, go kind of backtrack where everything is. You're able to kind of see, you know, very quickly from a high level, oh, this part of the factory is slower because this is the last green part. Okay, here's the yellow, and then here's the red. And it kind of just makes that, you know, debugging, troubleshooting, you know, backtracking process just a little bit more obvious. All right. Next. So the next kind of cool thing. So let's say, okay, you aren't really paying, you're like deep into the game right now, right? Let's just say, okay, we got a bunch of these drills, right? They're mining, you know, these are expensive, so you don't have a billion of them laying around. They're doing their thing. You know, and then all of a sudden, they run out. For whatever reason, there's no more resources here. Well, guess what? You can, it will automatically just mark that for deconstruction, and your robo boys in the port will go get it, and I will demonstrate, you know, kind of what it looks like, even though it's really not. I mean, it's creative, so it's not going to kind of, it is not going to really mean much, but it's like right there. Yep, it'll deconstruct it and then put it away. And those are very fast robots, holy crap. Next, we have assembler pass-through pipes. These are amazing. I wish that when I was playing Factorio the first time, I had this. And now I do. Pretty much. Oops. And we're going to control copy. And we're going to control paste. I am stupid. Why am I doing this? Q. And whatever. Okay. Copy. Okay, cool. There you go. Boom, 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 boom. See, very simply, old Factorio without this mod, if you wanted to, you know, hook up a specific, you know, just run pipes for any specific kind of machine, you had to run a whole pipeline. It was ugly. It was gross. You had to go pretty much like this. And if you get really complicated crafting recipes, you're kind of limited to the amount of space, you know, that you can have grabbers without having to space them out. And We don't like spacing things out here. We like spaghetti, and we like it tight. So what this mod allows you to do is to torture your friends who are Factorio veterans and pretty much just say, okay, boom, 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 automatically. And then you just have your input pipe right there. And guess what? All these are getting lubricant in this case. Very simple, very straightforward, makes life so much easier because now I can just sit down and have the grabbers, and I can have, you know, I have the room now for 9 grabbers, or I guess no, sorry. I have the room now for 6 grabbers instead of the original 3. So, or, you know, you could get 5 out of it, but this is just so much more efficient with your resources. You don't need to spend time doing that. Screw that. I've got 800 hours to do this shit, man. I just want to play Factorio, all right? And this is so much neater. Like, why would I spend time trying to, you know, get the efficiency when there's a mod that can do it for me? Again, quality of life update. That's all I'm trying to tell you, man. Just save yourself some time and just get this. It will be a lifesaver. The best part is that not only is it for our wonderful little things here, it also works for everything else. I can just say, oh yeah, I want to do light oil cracking. And guess what? I can just line it up in a row like this, and I can have the output pipe here. And then, I mean, obviously I have to, you know, be careful there. And I can have the inputs and the outputs, or the inputs for this, which is, you know, medium oil and water, and just have all of the petroleum just as an output here. Lifesaver. Absolute lifesaver. Saves you so much time and just piping this shit around. You just don't need to mess with it. It is just, it is so great. Just this is, of all the mods, just get this one. If you had to pick one and you don't want to really mess with the other ones, this is the one to get. The assembler pipe pass-through mod is what will allow you to do this. And you can do there, I mean, there's a bunch more buildings that you can do this with, but this is the general idea. Last but not least is going to be the Jetpack mod. Now, I have a love-hate relationship with this mod, and I want to say that this is number 10 because it's not a bad quality of life mod. It's a great quality of life mod when it works. This mod is notorious for crashing my game. It has crashed my game many, many times. I personally don't care for it. It is, you know, I don't need it because I have the Grappling Gun. That's the main thing. I don't need it because I already have it. So, no jetpack fuel. Okay, gotta get some fuel. That's okay. Cool. All right. So, jetpack mod, pretty straightforward. Works like this. Nothing crazy. However, when you pair it with your lovely grappling gun, boom, you can fly really freaking fast, no matter what fuel you have. You can fly over water. You know, if you want to go torture some aliens, you know, you can just kind of fly right by, and they can't really do it. Oh, okay, yeah, that's the only downside, is that you can't, if the biters can still get you from your jetpack. That's the only downside. But generally speaking, as long as you stay a good distance away from them, you can just kind of fly by and drop grenades. And yeah, and you can just, you know, it makes it very, like when you get a giant factory, right? You know, nobody wants to walk. Who wants to walk? That's for losers. We're going to jetpack and we're going to use our grapple gun. Now, just be very aware that this mod will crash your game if your factory is big enough. Again, with like in my 800 hour, 1,000, I don't even remember how long it was, my 1,000 hour space exploration mod, the factory was absolutely massive, and I just could not use the jetpack because it was constantly crashing my game. So just be aware of that. That is all I have to say about it. Alrighty. Well, if you stuck with me this far, I appreciate it. You know, these are these are personally my top favorite quality of life mods for Factorio. I've been playing this game for quite a while, and I just, I figured that it'd be helpful to share this information with you if you don't already know, if you're kind of like getting into Factorio, or if you just, didn't know what Factorio was and you came across it on my channel. Figured I'd save you some time because, not everybody has 800 hours to spend in one save doing one particular mod that is their boulder again. So if you liked what you saw, please go ahead and hit the like and subscribe button. I really appreciate it. Leave a comment of your favorite mod. I'm always open to exploring other stuff. Check me out on Twitch lately, streaming the Factorio Space Exploration since they've come out with 2.0. I'm kind of doing another run through of it with some additions. And other than that, have a great rest of your afternoon or evening or morning, depending on where you are. Talk to you later.